a mystery hidden for over 2 millennia. And now the truth is finally coming to light. Have you ever questioned whether history tells us the full story? What if Mary Magdalene was not just a loyal disciple, but someone who held a secret powerful enough to challenge the very roots of religion? Lost, ancient manuscripts, including the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, have revealed startling insights into her connection with Jesus. Could they have been more than just teacher and follower? Did they share a sacred relationship that goes beyond traditional beliefs? Why were these texts omitted from the official Bible? Who was trying to conceal this truth? And most importantly, if everything we know about Mary Magdalene is just a fragment of the story, then what is the full truth? These revelations could transform our understanding of history, spirituality, and even human existence. Are you prepared to face a truth that could challenge everything you believe? Discover a centuries-old mystery with us in this video. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an insightful video from our channel, where we uncover deep and inspiring perspectives on the Bible and faith. The portrayal of Mary Magdalene in the Bible has been misunderstood and misrepresented for centuries. One of the most widespread myths is her being identified as a repentant prostitute. However, this is never confirmed in the Gospels. In reality, Mary Magdalene played a unique and vital role in Christianity. A closer look at the 4 Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, reveals that Mary Magdalene was more than an ordinary woman. She was among Jesus' most devoted followers. Luke 8:2 states that Jesus had driven 7 demons out of her, implying she had suffered deeply. However, nowhere in the Gospels is she ever referred to as a prostitute. Instead, she was a woman whom Jesus healed from spiritual distress. In the 6th century, Pope Gregory I mistakenly associated her with a sinful woman from the Bible who washed Jesus' feet with her tears and anointed them with oil. Luke 7:36-50. This misinterpretation led to the false belief that Mary Magdalene was a prostitute. However, modern biblical scholars widely reject this claim, as there is no scriptural evidence linking her to that woman. Mary Magdalene was not just a follower of Jesus, she held a pivotal role in his life. Most notably, she was the very first witness to his resurrection, an event central to Christian faith. According to John 20:11-18, Mary Magdalene was the first to see the empty tomb of Jesus. As she turned, Jesus appeared before her, called her by name, and entrusted her with the task of announcing his resurrection to the disciples. This moment highlights her crucial role in early Christianity and her special connection to Jesus. This is significant because during that era, social norms dictated that women were not seen as reliable witnesses in legal matters. However, in the resurrection narrative, it is Mary Magdalene, a woman, who is entrusted with delivering the most important news in Christian history, the resurrection of Jesus. This is why she is referred to as the Apostle of the Apostles, a title that highlights her respect and central role in spreading Jesus' message. Today, many modern scholars and new research offer a fresh perspective on Mary Magdalene. They not only regard her as a key figure in the gospel narratives, but also as a central personality in the early Christian doctrine. One valuable source outside the Bible that helps us better understand Mary Magdalene is the Gospel of Mary, a text that was excluded from the canonical scriptures. This document shows that Mary Magdalene was entrusted with profound understanding of Jesus' teachings, with some sections even claiming that she was the only one who truly grasped the deeper meanings of his message. The Gospel of Mary also depicts a unique relationship between Mary Magdalene and the male disciples, particularly Peter. In this text, there is a discussion between Mary and the male disciples regarding her comprehension of Jesus' teachings. This indicates that, despite societal limitations and the biases of the time, Mary Magdalene was an influential figure in the early Christian community. More than just a follower, she was a teacher, sharing Christ's message. In addition, contemporary research suggests that Mary Magdalene may have had a pivotal role in preserving and spreading Christian teachings after the death of Jesus. There are theories that she could have been the founder of the first Christian communities, safeguarding the original doctrines of Jesus, even as the Gospels written by male disciples progressively altered and adapted aspects of her role. The Gospel of Mary Magdalene is an important but excluded text from the canonical Bible, and it remains one of the most debated and captivating texts for scholars and those interested in Christian history. Discovered in 1896 as part of the Nag Hammadi collection, this manuscript was found in Egypt. Remarkably, from the moment it was uncovered, the Gospel of Mary Magdalene drew strong attention, not only because of its novelty, but also due to the differing viewpoints it presented regarding Mary Magdalene's role in the early Christian community. Why was this text excluded from the Bible? Part of the reason could be that it presented ideas that did not fit with the doctrinal framework supported by the early church, especially concerning the role of women in Christian teachings. The exclusion might have been a deliberate effort to sustain male clerical dominance and preserve a patriarchal structure, as the text portrays Mary Magdalene as having significant influence and even greater insight into Jesus' teachings than the male disciples. The central message of the Gospel of Mary Magdalene emphasizes her close relationship with Jesus. She was not just a devoted disciple, but also someone who was trusted by Jesus, receiving profound understanding of his teachings. While male disciples like Peter did not fully acknowledge her role, Mary understood Jesus' teachings more clearly and deeply, making the Gospel of Mary Magdalene a crucial text in reassessing her place in early Christianity. One of the most remarkable excerpts from this Gospel portrays Mary Magdalene as Jesus' most beloved disciple. This statement has sparked much speculation and debate. Does it suggest a unique connection between them? A relationship that surpasses the traditional teacher-disciple dynamic and carries a deeper, even mystical meaning? This is one of the reasons this text remains controversial. It challenges the conventional understanding of Jesus and his interactions with his disciples. According to this gospel, Mary Magdalene was not just a follower of Jesus, but a leader among his disciples after his departure. She safeguarded and transmitted his teachings, playing a pivotal role in guiding the early Christian community. This perspective is significant, as it underscores that Mary Magdalene was not a subordinate to male disciples, but a key figure in preserving and shaping Christian doctrine. Another compelling aspect is that the Gospel of Mary Magdalene reveals that she received secret knowledge from Jesus, knowledge unknown to others. This information was not limited to his deep spiritual teachings, but also included prophecies regarding the future of the Christian faith. These revelations likely strengthened her ability to uphold the beliefs of the early church after Jesus was no longer present. Why was this text removed? Some scholars propose that the early church dismissed the Gospel of Mary Magdalene because it contradicted the established portrayal of Jesus. The canonical Gospels depict him as a figure of great authority, whereas this gospel presents him in a more personal and empowering light, particularly regarding women. Many religious authorities of that era found this notion unacceptable, as it disrupted the doctrinal framework they were reinforcing, one where women's influence was minimized and male leadership was central. Additionally, eliminating this text may have served to strengthen patriarchal control within the early church. Recognizing Mary Magdalene's influence and her profound connection with Jesus could have redefined women's roles, creating instability within the church's power hierarchy. The nature of Jesus' relationship with Mary Magdalene has long been a source of debate. Traditional Christian sources rarely explore this in depth, but ancient writings hint at aspects that challenge mainstream interpretations. Among these writings is the Gospel of Philip, part of the Nag Hammadi texts discovered in the 20th century. In this Gospel, Mary Magdalene is referred to as Jesus' companion, a term that in historical contexts suggests a deep and significant bond. The Greek word koinonos, which translates to companion or partner, has led many scholars to suggest that her connection with Jesus was more profound than that of an ordinary disciple. Mary Magdalene may have been a true confidant, sharing in his mission, experiences, and hardships. Perhaps the most striking passage in the Gospel of Philip describes Jesus kissing Mary Magdalene. This imagery has fueled much speculation about their bond. Such an act was likely not a mere gesture of courtesy or friendship, but rather a symbol of an exceptionally close relationship. This is an image that does not easily appear in religious writings, especially when referring to a figure like Jesus, a person considered to be completely divine and removed from all earthly connections. This raises a profound question. Could this act be a sign of a deeper personal connection than we have been led to believe? Might this suggest a bond that goes beyond just the teacher-student relationship and could even reflect a deeper, soulful connection? These questions become even more complex when we consider the possibility that Jesus and Mary Magdalene might have been married. While there is no direct evidence to support this, some studies and theories have suggested that this may have been the case. In the Jewish society of that time, marriage was not unusual, even for significant religious figures like Jesus. Therefore, if their relationship was truly intimate and unique, it might not be so surprising if they were indeed married. There are even some legends that claim Mary Magdalene went to France after Jesus' death, bringing with her a descendant, a child of Jesus. This is a mystical story that has appeared in many traditions and is mentioned in modern works such as Dan Brown's The Da Vinci Code. Could this be true, or is it just another piece of myth? This idea, however, has led to a strong controversy. The primary reason is that it challenges the image that the Church has upheld of Jesus for centuries. The Church has portrayed Jesus as a celibate man, entirely divine, with no involvement in earthly matters such as love or marriage. If Jesus had a wife and children, it would fundamentally change our understanding of him. Furthermore, acknowledging a marital relationship for Jesus could challenge the theological framework of Christianity, which has built Jesus' image as a singular figure, devoid of human attributes like marriage and family. Moreover, if Jesus did have a family, this would raise serious questions about the values the Church has upheld for thousands of years. Can we still maintain the image of Jesus as a savior who is entirely different from ordinary humans? If he had a family, Could he still embody the perfect divine figure portrayed in Christian teachings? These questions not only create doubt about the current doctrine, but also force us to question the very essence of faith and the beliefs we have held for centuries. There are also other hypotheses suggesting that the suppression of the relationship between Jesus and Mary Magdalene was not just a private matter, but also a political maneuver within the early church. The church's deliberate omission of texts such as the Gospel of Philip may have been part of a strategy to preserve a power structure in which women were marginalized, while male clergy retained control. If their relationship was publicly acknowledged, it could have resulted in a significant shift in the perception of women's roles within Christianity. What are your thoughts on the relationship between Jesus and Mary Magdalene? Did they truly share a connection more profound than we have been led to believe? And if Jesus did have a family, how would this change our faith and understanding of him within Christianity? Share your opinions in the comments below as we look forward to hearing your perspectives. Mary Magdalene, with her significant role in Christian history, has been overlooked and excluded from many mainstream interpretations for centuries. However, if she were recognized as the first leader of Christianity, it would bring about substantial changes in not only how we view women's roles in the church, but also in how we perceive the early foundations of the Christian faith. There is compelling evidence suggesting that Mary Magdalene may have led a secret Christian sect during its early days. Ancient texts like the Gospel of Mary reveal that she was not only one of Jesus' most important disciples, but also played a crucial role in spreading his teachings after his death. In the early Christian era, some groups of believers revered Mary Magdalene as a sacred woman and even honored her as a spiritual leader, possessing wisdom that was not easily understood by all. However, the early church sought to suppress these views in order to uphold male clerical dominance and establish the image of Christianity with Jesus at its center and male disciples as his rightful successors. Over centuries, the church systematically diminished Mary Magdalene's leadership role in Christianity, instead portraying her as a sinful woman who repented. This erasure not only disregarded her contributions, but also reinforced a restrictive view of women's roles in religious communities throughout history. Nevertheless, evidence of Mary Magdalene's influence has never fully disappeared. Recent research and discoveries have helped reclaim her as a significant figure in Christian history. This perspective has led many to re-examine her impact on Christianity. Films and books such as The Gospel of Mary portray Mary Magdalene as a powerful and knowledgeable individual, unafraid to lead and guide the faithful. Though these theories remain debated, it is clear that Mary Magdalene continues to be a focal point in contemporary discussions. Her resurgence in modern media has reignited curiosity about her true role in Christian history. She is no longer a forgotten figure, but a revived symbol of rediscovered truths. Though these theories remain debated, it is clear that Mary Magdalene continues to be a focal point in contemporary discussions. Her resurgence in modern media has reignited curiosity about her true role in Christian history. She is no longer a forgotten figure, but a revived symbol of rediscovered truths. If Mary Magdalene had indeed been Christianity's first leader, how might history have been different? Would the church have developed with a power structure where women had equal leadership roles? Share your thoughts. Should her role be reconsidered today? Over time, Mary Magdalene's image has undergone many transformations, from a penitent sinner to a devoted disciple, and ultimately to an emblem of spiritual strength and influence. However, emerging research suggests that she was more than a follower. She may have been instrumental in spreading Jesus' teachings. Some believe she was not only a witness to his resurrection, but also the leader of an early Christian sect that the Orthodox Church sought to suppress. Texts such as the Gospel of Mary Magdalene were excluded from the official biblical canon, partly to preserve male-dominated church authority and maintain Jesus' image as a celibate divine figure. If these scriptures were acknowledged, they could challenge established narratives and redefine Christianity's historical framework. Is it possible that the real bond between Jesus Christ and Mary Magdalene was much deeper than how the Church has depicted it? These questions remain unresolved, but they are sure to keep drawing curiosity and stirring discussions in the times ahead. What are your thoughts on these hypotheses? Could Christian history have been manipulated to benefit a certain power system? Drop your comments below and share your opinions. And remember to like, share, and subscribe for more engaging videos on captivating and exploratory topics.